This latest chapter of Choujin, you gotta feel bad for Pamela because the things that she has went through, she has been eaten by zombies, Choujins. We see the backstory, but then she turned herself into this giant monster Choujin to try to go ahead and save herself. And this is just really insane because she finally has awakened her Choujin powers. And this can go into two different directions. She can go on ahead and be chaotic and actually go berserk and never go back to her normal self, or she can revert back into her normal self because the form that she had looked very, very weird. It looks like a children who went into his chaotic state because there's tentacles for her mouth, and then she has this hyena arm, and she just looks very monstrous. And it's just very interesting how Ishida, how he was able to draw the scenery from when she's being eaten and to when she transformed into this giant Trojan monster. And it's just very, very beautiful artwork. So before we even see the horror that happened to Pamela, we actually see Batista in this chapter as he's just chilling and he's just looking at the sky and he kind of just foreshadow on what happens at Pamela at this chapter because he says that this night is very lovely and that tonight that the dead will rise and start dancing again. And on this day, good things are bound to happen. And then at this time, when you actually first read this chapter, you kind of just like, wait, what is he talking about? What is this meaning? Not realizing that the next page we see was about to happen. As we see Pamela, as she's continuously doing her experiment on subject 66, and she noticed that something is not normal. As she says that this isn't anywhere near normal, it is beyond the minimum of Trojan level, as subject 66 is looking to become a Trojan. And this is a huge development that she is finding because she says that I wondered about how my blood would affect them. Looks like even they respond to the drug. And this formulation results in a high stabilization rate for the others without making them explode. And the formulation will be the one. But if this buddy is a Trojan, the other powers might awaken it. And then we see that subject 66, his eyes are starting to move if you actually pay attention. But we see that Pamela, she's actually is just exhausted and tired. So she decided to go to bed and actually rest so she can continue on with her research and her experiment. And so by this time, we go into a flashback and we see what actually made Pamela actually start investing into like reviving the dead and actually making people come back to life because we see in her past that both of her parents has been killed by this giant catastrophe or the disaster that happens. And so she got an infatuation of not liking death and want people to live forever and ever and actually like bring them back to life. And so we can see her in her journey because when we see her, it says that didn't think anyone would still be alive in March. As she's laying there with her dead parents, this mystery gas mask man is appearing to her and he asking her, is she alone? As she replies, saying that she's with her parents, but he noticed that the parents are dead. So then one of his squads is saying, like, hey, how did this girl survive? Because this is in the disaster zone. And she says that she didn't. She once died once already, and it was weak, but it felt like it was a call. She turned into a Trojan. Even the beast can't survive in this place. So he goes on ahead and asks her, like, hey, would you come with us? And there she follows this guy with their dead parents. And then we get into more into her details and her work on why she wants to revive these dead people because she doesn't like the concept of death. She always wants to have people live forever. She wants to live forever. So her whole purpose was just like she wants to bring people back from the dead. So she's just so infatuation on her experiment because she wants to go ahead and do that. And that's why she works with Batista. So, of course, while she's waking up, she's being attacked by her subjects because they came alive, forming this zombie like Trojan. And this Trojan's is becoming bigger and bigger and bigger. And Pamela, she's running away for her life because she knows that she needs to get out. but then she gets cut in half. And I don't know how she still is able to survive that, because all of her guts and blood is just spilling out, and she's trying to pull her body together so that way she can go on ahead and try to like move. But the monster suddenly just appears in front of her and just lift up half of her body, probably ate that or got rid of that, and just going after her as Pamela is just crawling because now she can't run. And I still am amazed on how the fact that she still is surviving this brutal attack, because this zombie monster was able to crush the remaining of her stomach as blood is coming out, and she's being eaten alive by these zombies. And as Pamela, she is trying her best because she knows that any second she will actually die. So she sees the syringe that's full of like this Choujin powers or this drug, and then she goes on ahead and inject herself. And when she injected herself, here we see Tokyo gets this Choujin signal, and he sees and feels the signal as he is just sweating. And then we see Pamela in her monstrous hybrid mutant chaotic form, and we normally don't see that unless a Trojan goes into a chaotic state. And so it's going to be very interesting to see what is going to happen to Pamela in this further on. And it seems as if that this is going to be very powerful because she was able to defeat this zombie mutant power. So it's going to be very interesting and see what Tokyo is going to do. We're going to interact with her. Is Pamela is going to escape? Like, what is going to be the whole situation? Because now that Tokyo received the signal, it looks like the whole cover of what Pamela is doing with her research is going to be blown, and so we don't know what's going to happen next. But other than that, with Tokyo and the rest of his squad, we actually see them what they're doing in the beginning, and they're actually eating and talking about their next step. As we see that Michelangelo, the insect Trojan, he's able to communicate through bugs, and we're able enough to go ahead and use them as like a spy gear to see what sources that they need to go ahead and do to find their next lead. But it looks like Tokyo is going to be able enough to find his next lead, as we see that Pamela is transforming into a chaotic state, and he received her signal because it's probably the signal that she summoned when she actually transformed into her chaotic state. But let me know down in the comment section how you guys feel about this chapter, because this chapter is all about Pamela. We were able to know the backstory and her purpose on why she wants to revive the dead people. And it's just all of this. But let me know if you guys do like the video. Please give it a like, subscribe, and remember, always be decent. This is the Monotone Man. I hope you guys have a wonderful day and be safe out here. Peace.